What's up, BooTube? I'm sorry, this is a part 3 video to The Walking Dead, season 7, I believe, episode 8. I know it's season 7, and it's titled Heart Still Beating, which is the, mid-season finale of the first half of season 7. Anyway, where I left off was basically, Rosita was pissed off about what happened to Spencer, and she takes the gun she was hiding with the one bullet that Eugene made for her and shoots at Negan only to miss and hit Lucille. Negan's pissed off. The savior Arat pretty much wrestles Rosita to the ground and has her at knife point. Negan picks up the bullet casing and realizes it's homemade and demands to know who made it. Rosita's all lying, saying, "It was me, I'm the one who made it," and she even, presses her cheek against Arat's knife, cutting her own face. Negan does not fall for Rosita's lies and basically orders Arat to kill someone, and this is where my heart instantly broke. Because out of everybody that Negan tells Arat to kill, which is there's a huge group just around them, Arat kills the one person who's actually pretty damn far from them, and had nothing to do with it, and it was Olivia. Olivia was there on the porch with Carl, which is a good distance away from where they were, and Arat just turns around and shoots her square in the head, and Rosita screaming that it was me, right? Rick arrives to the scene with Aaron and tells Negan to leave when he hears about upon being explained the entire situation, and Negan, he agrees to leave as soon as he finds out who makes the bullet, right? And Tara, trying to protect everyone, Tara, bless her soul, she's trying to protect everyone. She falsely confesses that she's the one that made the bullet, right? We all know it was Eugene, but Tara, trying to protect everyone, pretty much lies to everyone, saying that she's the one that made the bullet. And all the saviors have their guns turned on her. And I was like, for the love of God, please don't tell me they're gonna kill Tara now too, okay? You already killed Olivia, who was an innocent sweetheart. And now you're gonna get rid of my sweet pea, Tara? Really? I actually like her. She's so fun. Please don't kill her. And unfortunately, everyone has their guns on her. Eugene actually grows a pair and steps up and says that it was him that made the bullet, and Negan actually believes Eugene, and him and his crew decide to leave and take Eugene with them. And upon seeing Spencer reanimating because he died from getting his guts spilled out, Rick angrily stabs him in the head. Michonne comes back that night and informs Rick that there are more saviors than they thought, but they should still fight for Judith, for Carl, for Alexandria, and for Hilltop. For all of us. And finally, Rick steps up, grows a pair, saying, "I know that now. I know we have to fight." So I was like, thank God Rick grew some balls. For real. It was really pissing me off, right? Anyway, back to Hilltop. We see Maggie on guard duty again at the gate. And she sees something in the distance and smiles. And I have a weird feeling it has to be her family, right? And surely enough, gates open, we see Rick, Michonne, Carl, Rosita, and Tara enter Hilltop and reunite with Maggie and Sasha and Enid. And Rick admits to Maggie that she was right all along, that they have to fight against the saviors. And the greatest moment, though, has gotta be when Daryl and Jesus come out and greet them. So apparently, when Daryl and Jesus escaped the Savior compound, obviously they went straight to Hilltop, and they got to Hilltop before the rest of Rick's group showed up. Seeing the reunion between Daryl and Rick, seeing them hug each other that tightly, and looks like Daryl was crying, it just broke my heart. I was like, the brothers return and unite. I was so happy. I was like, that's the sweetest shit ever. It really is. And it was even sweeter when Daryl gives Rick's gun back to him that he took back from Fat Joey. And they all strive toward the mansion together, most likely to talk to Gregory and tell him, you gotta fight against the saviors. Which I highly doubt Gregory is going to agree to, because it's Gregory and he's a pansy. Anyway, back in Alexandria at night, obviously, we see Gabriel keeping watch at the Alexandria gate. And we see the same person. We see someone watching him through a pair of binoculars, and the dark figure pretty much jumps out of the tree, and we find out it's the same person with the mismatched boots that was watching Rick and Aaron drive away with the supplies from the houseboat. And, it's the same person because we see the same mismatched boots. And we see that the person's heading toward Alexandria. So, I originally decided that I wanted to make another video on who I suspect the mismatched boot person was. But I'm going to put it in this video instead. My number one choice, I think, has to be possibly Dwight. We all know Dwight in the comics. If you guys don't read the comics, I think it might be Dwight, only because I rewatched the episode, I think maybe a week after it premiered, and I noticed a few things. As we rewind to when Daryl escaped the sanctuary, remember when he ducked into the bedroom? There was absolutely no mention of whose bedroom it was, right? But there were some items that proved that it belonged to Dwight. The main item there had to be the hand-carved chess pieces, because Dwight, I think, mentioned that he liked carving those things. And there was a shirt, a flannel shirt hanging in the back of that door, and it looked just like the shirt that Dwight was wearing when he first met Daryl. So there's a good chance it's Dwight's room, but if you look closer in the room, you notice something else that stands out that pretty much, for me, makes me believe that the person watching Alexandria and was watching Rick and Aaron was Dwight, because hanging on the near the door are a pair of binoculars. Remember, the person watching Alexandria is watching through a pair of binoculars, and they're wearing a black hoodie, right? The person watching Alexandria was wearing a black hoodie and watching through binoculars. If you look in the room, there's a pair of binoculars hanging near the door, and if you look on the clothes, there is a black hoodie folded on top of the rest of the clothes. So I'm wondering if that person, the mismatched boots person, is in fact Dwight. I don't know. A lot of people wanted to be that one guy. If you guys remember, all the way in the first season of Walking Dead, the Atlanta group, which is Rick's group, there was a guy there, I forgot his name, but there was a guy there that literally had a wife and kids. And as I think they were heading toward the CDC, that guy in particular with his wife and kids decided to separate from Rick's group and head their own way. A lot of people want this person who's watching them to be that person. They're like, the last time they saw him, he separated from the group. He separated from Rick's Atlanta group, and we haven't heard from him since. We don't know if he's still alive with his family or not. And a lot of people hope that it's him. Like, they haven't heard about him for a long time. They haven't seen him. They don't know if he's dead. It would be really cool to bring him back in this way after not hearing or even a mention of him in the longest time since, like, season 1, right? So, I think it's either Dwight because of the evidence of the last episode, or it would be really cool. I actually hope and pray it's actually that guy from season 1 that took off away from Rick's group with his family. Because it'd be really cool to see an old character all the way from season 1 come back. With the exception of Morgan. Because remember, Morgan's been around since season 1 too. The fact that he came back, that was awesome. Let's have another season 1 character come back. Especially a season 1 character that we have no idea if he's dead or not, right? Because Morgan, when we last saw him in the earliest seasons, Rick parted ways with him. We don't know if he was dead or alive or not. And then Rick reunites with him when he's with Michonne and Carl, separates from him again. We end up seeing him again in this season, so to see another season 1 character that we do not know if they're dead or alive or not to come back would be really cool. But judging by the evidence from this episode, it could be Dwight. It could be Dwight, basically. The mismatched boots guy who watched Rick and Aaron leave with the houseboat supplies and is watching Alexandria right now could possibly be Dwight. But anyway, that is my reaction rant, finally, to The Walking Dead Season 7. Hang on, what episode? I think episode 8. The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 8, titled Heart Still Beating. I know it took forever and I'm finally done. I'm sorry it took so long. But anyways, I look forward to the second half of The Walking Dead. So, see you then. I believe it's episode 9. The The Walking Dead Season 7 Episode 9, which is titled Rockin' the Road, and it will premiere February 12th. So we're very damn close because it's the 3rd right now. So we're like 9 days away. We're like pretty much, we're a week and 2 days away from The Walking Dead. That's amazing. Well, no. I feel stupid. Wait. No, it's pretty much like a little over a week. So I can't wait for it to show up. So I'll see you guys for episode 9, Rockin' the Road. Bye, BooTube.